Hello there, I'm Chris Key, and today I want to talk about a new product which Hostcom has called IVRWorks, which is a no-code customizable IVR system. So why should you be interested in this? Well, IVRWorks automates lots and lots of customer service tasks 24/7, which will allow you to reduce the burden on your staff and reduce costs and generally give your customers a better service. It can also do some of the tasks that AI voice agents, for example, are not particularly good at, like taking secure phone payments and authentication processes. I've talked a lot about AI agents and IVRs working hand in hand, and the net result of that partnership is a much better service for customers. When discussing AI voice agents, I tend to recommend having the AI voice agent do the bulk, the things that it's good at, like the conversational skills and the language and the meet and greet, FAQs, that sort of thing, the more natural sounding parts that you want the AI voice agent to do. But it's handing off to an IVR to do things like security and payments, where an IVR is actually best because it essentially can follow the same process, the same procedure, and replicate tasks over and over again 100% of the time. So what does IVRWorks do? Number one, it allows an IVR to be built following a step-by-step process. Number two, like any good IVR, it can read keyed numbers or DTMF presses and respond accordingly, like checking PIN numbers and conditional jumping. It can also use text-to-speech engines to dynamically produce spoken prompts. It can use outbound webhooks to change the flow of the prompt or trigger further actions. It can also store captured lead values into the database. In summary, IVRWorks makes it much easier to build an IVR, as I mentioned at the start, without any coding, just settings. Lots of settings. It's very comprehensive, but it's a lot easier to do, and you don't need to know any tricky programming languages. So what I'll do in this video is I'll give you a quick run through of the IVRWorks interface. We'll quickly work through a test process and highlight some of the features that are within IVRWorks. Okay, so let's get straight into the demo here. The starting point, as usual, is the Hostcom Contact Center dashboard, which has got an impressive array of plugins and tools which work in conjunction with the inbound, outbound contact center. So right in the middle here, we've got IVRWorks, which is the new plugin. So right in the middle here, we've got IVRWorks, which is the new product. So let's take a look at the interface. So we'll start with setting up, or just running through the settings for a previously set up authentication. So you're calling into the IVR, it recognizes the caller ID, sends a PIN number to the email on the database, which you then receive as an email. You then type in the PIN number, and that completes your verification. So if you're looking to link to this IVR from our contact center, so this gives you the file where the IVRWorks settings are. So essentially the call comes in and it routes to this file here. Some other things like labeling it, and you can also set the voice. So the text-to-speech engine. In this case, it's a Google WaveNet. Okay, so next up, this is the starting point. So speaker welcome, that's the label, and essentially what it does is it's going to generate whatever you put in here as the welcome. And you can bring in a whole host of labels through from the database. You can also add the person's name, which is right here. So lead name, first name, last name. So you can actually greet the person by name based on the caller ID that's been recognized. But here we're saying, good afternoon or good morning. So that's the variable. Whatever the time of day is, it'll play morning or afternoon automatically. And then it says it's going to send the random access code via email. It's going to retry if that fails. Then it's going to generate the code, which we've set here with a simple regex. The email goes out. So next stage, it's going to check the email. So it will go to the database, check there's an email there, and get it ready to send the PIN. And the final stage is it's going to send the PIN out. Next stage, it's going to It's going to ask for the PIN to be entered, which is this section here. And when the PIN's been typed in, it's going to check, read it back, match it, and then success or failed. So that's what all these settings are. So as we go through this, you'll see, there's no coding to be done. You're essentially filling in these fields here, and they've all got labels in it and descriptions of what they do. It's going to retry after that, and it's got a good error handling procedure there. So lots of these settings you can see them behind the scenes, but when you actually make the call, it's much more simple. So although the settings seem very comprehensive and there are lots of them, a lot of them are related to what if scenarios. So what if the PIN number's keyed in wrong? What do we then do? Do we ask the caller to type it back in again? So there's lots of error correction and handling parts to this IVR. So there's always a lot more in the background that isn't visible. So a well-constructed IVR is just a lot slicker and easier to use, and doesn't stress the caller in any way or get them to have to think or be frustrated. So that's what all of these do. They're really just making it much easier and slicker. If the PIN number's been matched, we play a message. Again, this is generated automatically with text to speech based on the engine that we set on the page 1 there. So the PIN matched. The outcome is then success. It moves on. So if the PIN's matched, we get a success outcome, and then there's a whole range of actions that we can move on to, such as jumping to another IVR, jumping to, say, a PCI DSS payment IVR, perhaps moving to an AI voice agent, being transferred off to that. We can play sound files, all sorts of. We can go to the database. We can also send messages out to Slack, to Teams, to SMS and email. So there's a good comprehensive list of functions here once the call has been authenticated. We can also make an API call to look up the weather, and that's actually what this one's doing. So the caller rings in, they're sent a PIN code to their email. They type their PIN code in using DTMF into the IVR. The IVR checks that against a database that authenticates the caller, and if that's successful, the weather's it makes an API call and gives them the weather. So that's a quick run through of IVRWorks and what it can do. Hopefully you can appreciate that it's very comprehensive. There's lots in there, but there's no coding. So once you get the hang of it, which doesn't take long, it's extremely powerful. It ticks a lot of boxes, and also can work in conjunction, as I mentioned, with the AI agent. So if you wanted an AI voice agent to sit in front of an IVR or vice versa, that's absolutely possible. We can hand off from one to the other using SIP trunks or using DID numbers, pushing the data between the two systems. So here's a session that we did yesterday. This was a test call. So you can see that this is essentially the events. Okay, so the session events that happened on a call, and it gives you some great information here. So it tells you what the IVR actually did, what the person said, and is fantastic for quality checking, troubleshooting, that sort of thing. So you can see everything that happened, the PIN code that was entered in this case here, what the success was, what happened after that. So you can see what it actually said to the caller, what the caller entered. The other point to mention is that there's a live display of the calls that go into IVRWorks. So if you've got a call happening, we haven't got it here unfortunately, but maybe on another demo I can show you that. But you'll be able to see the call, and crucially you'll be able to see the events scrolling down as they actually happen as the person works through the IVR. So that's the end of the demo. IVRWorks is an easy to use comprehensive tool that enables you to automate a wide variety of tasks. But most importantly, it'll improve customer service. That's the big benefit of IVRWorks, allowing your customers to sort things out themselves quickly without waiting for callbacks and responses. They can get things done much more quickly, 24/7. There's a lot of hype at the moment about AI voice agents, which really are amazing, but they have their limitations, and that's where IVRs and IVRWorks come in. They make customer self-service complete and comprehensive. And using IVRWorks, you've got full control of the features and the costs. So that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this quick video. I'll be doing one soon going into a bit more detail on IVRWorks, and we'll be running through a live demo. So keep an eye on the YouTube channel, and if you want to get in touch with us to find out more about this, to start a free trial, get in touch at sales@hostcom.co.uk. Thanks very much.